Hello, hello. I think I am live. Yeah, it's been a long time. Welcome to this thing. I'm going to chat with Tash, I think, in a minute. Hello, Theodicy. How are you? Hello. I'm just waiting for Tash. I presume she'll be around. She'll just pop in here, I guess, any moment. One sec. Okay, so I'm back. Hello, I was just sending Tash a message in case there's any confusion. This is the new single which you can get on the Quick Fix Singles Club if you are a subscriber. They've already got it. I just got a notification saying that I'm online, so that's good. She just replied to me, so I think we might be in business. There you are. Cool. I So just request to be in the chat, Tash, because it'll be easier that way. How is everybody? You alright? So if you haven't checked it out yet, please do go to the website, quickfixrecordings.com, and check out the Singles Club. It's a good bargain. It's tenner for way more than a dozen tracks. You get a dozen tracks as soon as you join, and then you get like a dozen once a month through the year, and that's good. Glad to hear you're all good. And yeah, it's, as you can tell, we're pretty good at spotting acts. Here's our proof. Cool, right, well, we'll see if this connects. I'm holding you in my hand, so maybe I should stick it up somewhere and that'll be like, make a bit more sense. Hello!
Hello.
Right, I'll stop the music then, as you're here. How you doing?
I'm alright, just
What have you been up to today?
relaxing.
Have you?
Well,
All right, good
no.
stuff.
Now I am.
Oh,
I've
now
been
you're
working
relaxing.
all day, really. So
Yeah, I've been pretty hectic since I got up, which can't really say is all day because I went to bed at like whatever time at night, so I woke up late. So yeah, but the day that I've had so far has been pretty busy. So yeah,
yeah,
so cool. So yeah, okay. I just wanted to do this mainly so that people could kind of, if they didn't know you already, get to know you, and those who do know you already could kind of hear you chat about what we're doing with this and everything, and yeah, just kind of thought it'd be a good idea in general. Plus, also we're all just sitting indoors. So what else were we
yeah.
going to do?
Might as well, innit?
So yeah, so go on
Mm.
then. So you're from East London. Tell us a little bit about
Well,
like
no,
how
I'm
you
from I'm from South, but
from southeast London. Sorry, I didn't.
yeah,
Mm,
it's where the accent's from. So
sorry, sorry, I missed a vital word out of there. The
Southeast, you're kind of right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you spend all your time just doing press releases and things like that, and you don't
Mm.
really. It's almost like you don't absorb the facts. You're just kind of like a conduit for
It's not that important
information. You're
anyway.
constantly taking this piece of information from
Yeah.
here and putting it over there, and some of it doesn't really stick to the sides. But yeah,
Yeah.
so how
No,
did you
yeah.
come to doing music then?
I think I've always really been doing it since I was kind of younger in school, but not really seriously. Um,
It's
and then I've,
seriously when you're like, whilst you do it,
yeah,
like
exactly. When you've got a serious
seriously
face on when
when
you're doing it, and
yeah.
that's only recently. But I've had lots of like gaps in my music
Making.
career or wherever
Mm,
it is. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I started. I brought out a single maybe when I was like early 20s, and I started selling my CDs on the streets. Oh, do you want to
Right.
get one of my
Wow. Oh.
singles? One of those people,
How is
annoying
that?
people.
I've never had the. I know like tons of hip hop people who sell their stuff on the streets and have no qualms whatsoever about going out to someone saying buy my CD or whatever. And I don't know if I
Yeah.
can do that. I feel like I need to play a gig first and then tell them to
Mm,
buy it. If you know what I mean. Like I've given you the proof, now buy it, kind of thing. But
exactly.
yeah.
No, but I never played anything. Like I've never played live at all at that point. I was just selling. I printed off like
Wow.
2,500 or whatever CDs, put them
Wow.
all up in their cases, and they just go around and it was more like salesperson kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
is. That's effectively, you might as well, but you could have been doing anything like selling charity tickets or raffle tickets or anything really if you're doing it like that because you're
yeah,
literally
yeah,
cold calling people in the street, aren't you? I've done
exactly. Yeah,
in my away from music life, I've done like things like OPCing for timeshare and you know,
timeshare.
door
Oh,
knocking for double
yeah.
glazing and stuff like that. So, which is probably why I have an aversion to doing it with music because it feels too much like
Mm,
that thing that I had to do when I couldn't do music, if you know what I mean. So why would I
yeah,
spend my
that's fair.
time
I suppose
doing
if
that?
you're doing it, you're selling something that's yours that you've made. It feels a bit different rather than if you're selling like, you know,
I
I
think
don't
it's way
know,
harder.
someone else's
I think
product. You
I
think?
think it's
Yeah,
easier to sell someone else's stuff
I
than
get what you
yourself in
mean.
a way. I think.
I
I don't
get what
know.
you mean.
I find it that way. So how many of those? I do want to know how many of those CDs did you manage to sell in the end?
You know, I was, I don't know. I mean, the boxes were in 2,500. Maybe it was like 5,000 or something. It's
Wow, that's
quite good.
pretty good. It's
Yeah,
pretty
but then
amazing.
people stopped buying CDs. There's no CDs
Yeah,
drives and
I know.
laptops anymore. So yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? That like literally when they take away the actual facility, well, you can still buy an individual like
yeah,
a separate burner, but yeah, you can tell it's just floated out of the kind of the
yeah, yeah,
what's that? You don't want to work, you just want to create. That's always an issue. Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah. Well, I don't mind
yeah.
doing a little bit of work and stuff. I realize that, you know, like they say that like it's what, like 40% creation and 60% promotion or something like that. Maybe it's even 10% creation and 90% promotion. I don't mind
Promotion.
doing a
Yeah,
bit and, you know, I don't mind being a bit self promoting because that's kind of goes with the territory, but um just feels a little cheap if you go too
yeah.
far with it. But yeah,
I couldn't
but
do that
still,
because like
if I'd known you could sell 5,000 CDs by going up to people, then I probably would have started doing that like way before.
yeah, it was quite good. But I mean, like the rappers were a lot better than me though because they're a lot more like self,
Mm.
you know, egotistical. Sorry for the
Yeah,
rappers
yeah,
that are in here. I know some of you are. They're more likely, yeah, yeah, I'm the best. I'll buy this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, you know, they got more sales than
yeah,
me.
yeah. I mean, I we did a collaboration with a guy called Shaudo who basically made his name pretty much from just going around towns and just standing on street corners like selling people CDs and chatting to them. So yeah, um, it can be
Mm.
done. Yeah, I think it's very much a hip hop culture thing though. It's the same as like the first time I ever saw anybody wearing their own shirt. It was Ice Cube, like wearing their own T-shirt. Before that,
I
I kind of
couldn't do
thought, well,
that. Mm.
yeah, I wouldn't wear my own T-shirt. And then I have actually since because I've been on tour and like kind of gone, oh, well, let me. I've not got clean shirts, so let me have a merch
Oh,
shirt.
okay,
If you
fair
know what
enough.
I mean.
That's okay. That's
But
that's fair enough.
but I also like I sweat incredibly during a gig, so we need like
Spare
15.
t-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so but the first time I ever saw that was Ice Cube, and I thought, oh wow, you're wearing your own T-shirt. Is
Yeah,
that
you're wearing your name on
or
your
not?
chest.
Yeah, and your own face. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's very much a hip hop. Like, I guess if the whole selling CDs out of your boot and all that kind of thing, you've got to be a
yeah,
shameless self promotion, bit of a Del Boy.
yeah. That's the part I like about it. And
Not
you
that
meet
Ice Cube
people
and
as
Del
well.
Boy have ever had that
They're
comparison before,
they're
but
quite they're
that
quite
would be a
similar.
cool.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting collabo to see, though, wouldn't it? That would
Ice Cube
definitely.
featuring Del Boy. Yeah.
Or Del Boy featuring Ice Cube. If Del
Yeah,
Boy
either way.
shells out for the guest spot, I don't know. I can't see him paying out the proper money. I think the check
Maybe.
will probably bounce or something. But yeah. So okay, so then what drew you to kind of what has been your most recent uh kind of entity making music?
Well, I kind of disappeared again. I was like, oh, I can't bother to do this. It got a bit. I think everyone that's a musician has like times when they're like into it a lot, and then there's times where it just dips. It's almost like a,
Hmm.
I don't want to say depression, but loosely it is like that.
Yeah,
And I
it's
just went and
something
got a
like
job.
depression.
Yeah, it's, yeah, just get a job. And I just went back
Hmm.
to work for a bit, a few years, and then I was at work, and I was like, I don't want to do this either.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's
I went back to music.
there's nothing like being in the thick of a job to remind you why you loved doing music,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and it gives you all the pent up frustration of all the stuff you need to get out again, and it's like it's almost like those teen jobs that you
It's like you
get. Like
need them both. Yeah.
what's that? Sorry.
It's like you need them both. Like you need to be in work to have something to
It's
write
weird.
about
You,
because you're
well,
so
you certainly need to be in touch with your own suffering in a strange way, if that makes
yeah.
sense. So I'm sure it's different for everybody, but I find work to be a massive, like, underpaid waste of my time, which should be spent on making amazing art, obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Obvious.
but even pushing someone else's art, I feel like, is a more valid kind of
Mm,
way of spending my time than working for, I don't know, Gap, or do you know what I mean,
mm,
Disney. I've worked for them, McDonald's, Burger King, like, you name it, you name a crap place, I've
yeah.
probably worked there. And a
Yeah.
corporate beast as well, like, name a massive corporate beast and I probably worked there. But apart from, like, all the computer ones, the new ones like Google and stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, so I think it is being in touch with, like, what gives you frustration, what feeds your, you know, Brian.
Who says don't get a job?
Most.
I hope that I got that right. Yeah.
Well,
But then, how can you know
Brian
starving
Eno.
artist thing?
Brian Eno, isn't he a bit privileged though? Didn't he come from quite a privileged background? I'm not
I'm
absolutely
gonna
positive on that,
quickly
but I'm
Wikipedia
fairly
it.
positive that Brian Eno's from fairly well-to-do beginnings. I'm not sure, but maybe someone else
So
can Google that. Any? Have we got any fact checkers in the chat?
yeah,
Feel free to,
someone Wikipedia Brian Eno and
yeah, and
see where
find
he
out
grew up.
whether, yeah, find out whether Eno is an anagram for one, which is the amount of millions he had at birth or whatever. So,
Yeah, the amount of money
but
his
yeah, so
dad can lend him, you know.
yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, so it's all very well, isn't it? Old Sourpuss, indeed. Yeah. So then, yeah, so then you got sick of it and you decided, oh, I want to be doing this again.
Yeah, and then I kind of went back again, and
Oh, I fell down. Sorry.
it's good that the phone fell and it wasn't you.
No,
But
yeah, it was. I made out like it was me. I made it really dramatic, didn't I? But
make what you love your job. Um, Justin Pear Person says, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can do that.
yeah, yeah. If
This
you
is
can,
what we're
well,
here for, yeah.
yeah, yeah. What you make you love your job. Yeah, it's again, like, some people are a bit luckier with that than others. So I don't
Yeah,
know. The problem is, like, amps cost money, and recording gear costs money, and microphones cost money, and all of it. And traveling to another gig costs money, and do you know
and
what I
they
mean? So
nobody ever wants to pay you if you're a musician either.
for those things, indeed,
So
it's the
yeah,
exposure. Remember, it's
yeah,
important. It's so useful, that exposure. So,
it's,
oh, I played
yeah.
in front of 5 people today. Brilliant. One more step towards stardom.
£5 if you look, keep your eyes on the prize. Yeah, this is why I need your positivity.
Is this a little rally support group for,
Yeah,
for depressed musicians? Keep it
yeah,
up, guy. Don't worry. I'm there for you. So
the
yeah. So
musicians helpline. Yeah, that would be good.
what was the first step to getting back to kind of doing it?
Um, well, I think it was actually feeling like I don't want to just be trapped doing something I don't want to do, and then I just went on good old Gumtree, looked for like bands and projects and things, and then I
Cool.
found uh Pear Person, who is the Given Style, who's there
Right.
saying his positivity.
Yeah, he's saying if you build it, they will come, which is
Mm,
obviously, yeah.
he's full of those
It
ones.
worked for
Yeah,
Wayne and Garth, so why wouldn't it for us? So,
why not? And so that's what I was doing. I was like trying to find bands, and then I found a band, and then called the Given Style.
yeah, cool.
Um, and yeah, we just did lots of gigs, and
Cool. Whereabouts did you play?
um, everywhere, mostly based in like North London, I would say.
Right.
Um, based like maybe because Pear Person is one of my band members, that so
Right.
maybe he can help me remember some places like
We've got fact
Little
checkers for
Brothers as well.
everything. Everything we say
Yeah,
is going to need some fact checking
yeah,
today.
we just played like lots of the small places like Little Brothers, Why Can I Only Think of Biddle Brothers? Maybe that's the most important one.
Yeah, it must
But
be. Obviously, it's the one that was the best. Obviously, it stuck
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
You're just angling for another gig, aren't you? So, was
I'd
that a
completely
Michael
forgotten
Jackson
that.
quote? Very, very good. Very good. um, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So then, and then you started doing some solo stuff. You had a plan. Was that the beginning of it to record a song on the 13th? Was that kind of essentially what
Yeah,
got you to doing?
yeah, because I had lots of like ideas and stuff like that that were just put away, and I didn't really do anything with them. And I thought, all right, I'll kind of try and actually make the like put some structure in it. I had lots of
Yeah,
random songs, and I thought, let me just make it into an actual album.
right, wicked.
And
Yeah, that
yeah,
was that 2000. I'm a bit thrown out because of like we've just had a year of
you've
complete
got so many
limbo.
dates to
But
think about
was
as well.
that pre? That was even pre 2000. Was that 2019? Wasn't it? That was like
Yeah, it was like November, like
yeah,
2019,
late
going into
2019.
2000.
Yeah,
Yeah, this one. So some of it
so
was done
weird,
during
isn't it?
lockdown. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so bizarre, isn't it? Because like it almost feels like the last year, so much obviously did happen, but it also in a strange way feels like it didn't happen at all. And so you kind of like whenever I say last year, lately I've been saying last year tons, and I've been meaning 2019.
you're just
Like,
skipping that one. It doesn't count.
yeah,
It's
I
just
just
it's not. It's a non-year.
but I don't know. I think I don't want to get into like all the talking about 2020 or whatever, but yeah, it's just had that weird kind of effect where it's almost like it kind of happened but simultaneously didn't. It's just like an alternate reality for a year or something. But
It's still happening. So as well. So we're still in that.
yeah, I know. I'd love to say that it was yeah. It's all gone back to normal exactly. So yeah,
No,
it's
this is
but it's
normal now. We should just get used to it.
oh, don't
This
say
is
that.
life.
My goodness. Yeah,
That's how I get through it.
I'm trying my best to kind of adapt to it so that it's not all bad, if you know what I mean. But I don't know if I can deal with it forever, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So the first, what was the first song you worked on?
So the first one was Black Cloud,
That
which
was
is what I
Black
made a
Cloud. Yeah.
video on
Yes.
eventually.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. A whole year later, then you
yeah, technically.
almost
Oh yeah,
not
you're
quite,
right actually. Yeah, it
not
is
quite,
actually.
not quite.
Nearly, it
But
is.
yeah.
Um,
But, yeah.
yeah, and I kind of didn't try to kind of structure it that much. Like, I just kind of did things when I felt like it when it comes to like
Do they appear
writing.
in on the album in the order that you made them, or did you juggle
Yeah,
it?
they do. Yeah, in order.
Right, yeah.
So
Because that must was that like a weird decision? As in, like, did you hear them go, "Oh, well, I wonder if they should be in a different order," and start trying to make it work that way, or did you just go, "No, that's how I'm going to do it," like straight away?
no, I kind of because some of the songs I kind of had an idea of already, so I kind of
So you could
knew the
predict a
order.
bit how it
Yeah,
would
like I
work.
wanted
Right,
a slower song at the beginning or whatever,
right,
and then
gotcha. Hmm.
so I did.
Wicked.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't hurt when a video comes out a bit later and it just kind of sheds a bit of new light on a track. I think it's quite a good thing for it, really. I think in this day and age, we kind of let go of. Sorry, I'm replying to the comment
Yeah,
that's in the
I
box
know.
that said,
Yeah,
I just didn't want, like, if people after are going to be watching this and wondering, why did he suddenly go on that tangent? And it's because someone said in the thing that a video is quite a nice reminder of a good track, like, whenever
hmm
it comes along. And yeah, I was just going to say this in this day and age, like, I hear this argument quite a lot as well from like successful musicians as well, that the cycle is too short now on music and that everything becomes
yeah. It's
old
so quick.
like way too quick.
Yeah, because back in the day, I swear, like musicians used to bring out songs, like the big artists, they'll bring out a song, and then 5 years later, they'll bring out another album on like
Yeah,
it's
well, I mean, yeah,
now
your
everyone
Michael
album.
Jacksons and your U2s and stuff, they would like
Yeah,
literally work an album for like a huge tour cycle of like maybe
yeah.
3 years, and so there's just single. They do like 5 singles off each album.
Mm.
Now the whole system has kind of flipped on its head because
Straight after. Yeah. So
well,
like a new artist has got the same amount of albums as Michael Jackson, who was around since he was
yeah,
a
I mean, I
child.
think
So
quality,
yeah.
not quantity, would be a
Mm.
good idea sometimes, but yeah, I mean, there was each of those Michael Jackson albums, at least the first. I want to say, hang on, wait, let's go. So Off the Wall, let's not count the kid ones, but Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad and Dangerous, and even his side of the stuff in on History, like the new stuff on History, I'll count because I kind of didn't appreciate it at the time, but in retrospect, it's really good.
Yeah,
So the
there's some
first
albums I
five,
listen to afterwards, and I'm like, oh, actually, this was good. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, I think I wrote him off a bit because it was part hits, part. I don't know why we're going into this, but
yeah, I know.
because it was part hits, part new songs, and like a lot of the singles, whether they were catching me because it was maybe I was a bit grungy at the time or a bit kind of alt and
It
stuff
depends
at the
on
time.
you
So I
as
was like,
well, because like we might go through different stages in our life where we kind of want certain music at certain points of our lives, and we can
yeah,
listen back to something from ages ago and be like, actually, yeah, now I
actually,
like it.
that was
But
great. I
like,
just
yeah,
wasn't ready for it.
yeah,
Totally.
exactly. Yeah,
With Prince, that happens like all the time. I remember at the time when Emancipation came out, it was like 3 discs, and it all had this kind of quite a glossy, polished kind of soul sound about it. And I just don't think I was on that tip at all at the time. I was like
yeah,
properly
yeah,
into kind of rough sounding hip hop or industrial sounding or grungy sounding rock or do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like anything that was like kind of a bit edgy and a bit nasty. And
yeah.
then
That was you
Prince
at the
comes
time.
out with his smoothest effort in like and 3 hours of it. Do you know what I mean? And I was just
Yeah,
like it. I liked it because I kind of like Prince at a core level. So I didn't not like it, but I remember feeling let down. Now I marvel at myself feeling let down at someone creating 3 hours of diverse, amazing.
mm. You have to
Yeah,
catch people
amazing.
at the
Sorry,
right
I
time.
died for a second there. That was
Yeah,
that was the Prince estate telling me to shut up.
yeah, exactly. No,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it could be the opposite way as well, where like there's certain albums and things that I listen to now when I was younger or whatever. I think this is like so crap. Why did I like this?
yeah, yeah,
It's like,
totally. Yeah, there's things that
mm,
I try and revisit, and it's like, and films I find that with as well. I'll revisit a film I thought was amazing. I'll be like, huh. So I
yeah,
was
yeah,
quite young when I liked this, I guess. You know.
yeah, or something. What was wrong with me?
Yeah. So what? So how did you feel the 13th went anyway? I mean, as obviously it's a fledgling release, so you probably didn't have like huge expectations or whatever. But did you think it
Yeah.
was? Do you
And
think you did what you meant to do with it and accomplished your goals and stuff?
I think it was mostly it was. I'm not saying it's not for everyone as well, but it was mostly a personal thing as well. Whereas like I need to learn to finish things in life in general. So it
Right.
was
Yeah,
like
I
a
think
challenge. So I thought, all
that's the
right, you know,
musicians thing. Finishing stuff is
because
just. I've got a.
otherwise I'd just like make the song and then I'd be like, I'll keep working on it and keep working on it until it's perfect, and it
Yeah,
never is
there
perfect.
is no perfect,
Yeah,
and often
exactly.
when you get it to perfect, it's at this point that no one else would ever want to hear it because you just squeezed all the life out of it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
You know,
There's no
so
rawness in there. It's just
yeah, yeah. I the initial spark is kind of what you're trying to be true to, and the further away you kind of get from that, the more it becomes this
mm,
other thing.
it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and other people and people that listen can know when something's raw and when something's just kind of like overly
overworked.
processed. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
why we know, but the audiences know when you've
I
like
think it's
overworked.
Snoop Dogg said, "Study long, study wrong." Pretty
Oh, I
sure.
heard
So,
it.
so
He
yeah,
probably
I
did. He
don't
says
know.
a lot of things.
He says a
Yeah,
lot of things and he smokes a lot. So maybe not everything should be taken as gospel. He also did change to a Rasta for like a year and then stopped. So
yeah, yeah. He
I
did.
don't know.
He did.
Maybe
He was
maybe won't
Snoop
take
Lion.
advice from Snoop actually. Yeah, but so yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. I only say that because obviously from the perspective of someone making music, I really loved the album and it became like one of my go-to listens. Really, like as in like with any other artist that I had in my it's awful, but in my Apple Music saved stuff, it was like it
Mm,
was played as much as I don't know. I can't tell you who else is on it right now, but there's like
yeah.
bits of D'Angelo and bits of I don't know Smashing Pumpkins or whatever else, and it was played as much as anything else in the mix, really. So that's say what you have to and get out. That's interesting.
It's pretty much. Yeah, that is pretty much what I was working with on the whole thing. Just get
That's cool.
over it, do it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, awesome. So then, and then obviously that led to to, well, you've done a couple of collabos as well. We should mention them. What was, you did the oh, mono, oh go
Oh
on, you,
yeah, I, I forget how to say it as well. It's a Japanese name or something, isn't it?
yeah, with the
Yeah, with Sad, Smile All Day, and he's
yeah,
just these guys are just guys that I just met on the internet because of course
yeah.
there's nowhere else to meet anyone
To
because it's
meet
just like
anyone, yeah. You
yeah,
used to say be careful of people you meet on the internet. Now, what
no,
choice have you got? Do you know
you've
what
got to,
I mean?
strangers are your friend. So
Now you have to
yeah,
be careful of the people you meet in the street.
exactly, exactly, it's the opposite. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't even remember how I ended up with them. It was just like I spoke to
Yeah,
them on
it's a cool
Instagram or
track
something.
though. Really, well,
Yeah,
there's two tracks in there. One
yeah,
stuck with me more than the other. But yeah, but that
mhm,
one, the one of the conspiracy theory orientated one,
yeah.
uh, got in my brain. But yeah, that was really cool. And then you ended up, well, yeah, obviously working on this song for us, which Human, which obviously some people have heard like a minute of it, and other people have
Yeah.
heard the whole thing. Give us a quick burst of fire in the chat if you've heard it and liked it. But that's featuring Benja Brozal. So who's he and where did you find him?
Ben. How
On
did
the
I meet
internet?
Ben again? No, actually, he's a real life person. I think we
Wow.
used to rehearse in the same studio. I think that's how I knew him. How I know Ben?
Right, right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and he's a bass player, and I always used to. This was before I even knew how to play bass, and I always used to kind of admire how he plays bass. Actually, I was quite, oh, I want to play bass like that one day.
Wicked.
Um, and
And
then
then you got him on your song but didn't get him to play bass.
yeah, I played bass on it. No, I just got him to do like lots of because it's kind of space related. So he done his
Yeah,
like
he brought the sci-fi
effects.
element.
He made the spaceship for the
Yeah,
song,
awesome.
which
He knows how to
which
make a
the,
spaceship.
he made it. Yeah.
He's got so much better uses than being on your track right now. Like during right now, we could get him making a
Somehow,
spaceship for
yeah.
all of us. We could all jump on.
Just
If you're watching this, you don't seem to be right here now. But if you end up watching this after, please make that spaceship. We
just
could all. I'll buy a
emigrate
ticket.
somewhere.
So I might not be able to buy a ticket, but I can promise you some exposure for one. But so yeah, cool. So that I mean, it's a really good track. Tell us a little about what that's about.
um, right, it's probably one of the weirder ones that I did, but it's just like a kind of imaginary story that I had in my head of like going to some dingy place in Soho and it's all smoky and then there's there and I go and sit with him and he's drinking. He's like completely drunk. And I'm like, oh, what's your problem? Like, why are you so upset? And he's just telling me about how he came here from somewhere else, and now he's like, why did I do it? Earth is just like the worst place to be,
The
you
worst. Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well,
So he's saying,
that's why
yeah,
Prince and David Bowie left, isn't it? So
that's why they went, yeah.
that's
But
why they went.
yeah,
They just couldn't bother. They couldn't deal with it anymore.
it's enough.
It just got too bad. They thought, well, we'll put out some good music. Hopefully that'll sway it the other way. And it didn't work
Didn't work.
enough. And they just thought, this isn't happening.
There's
I'm
nothing you can do.
cutting my losses. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I really like that. We were chatting the other day, and I was saying about how I like the well, David Bowie liked his sci-fi element as well, so that's quite
Mm.
apt that we're talking about all of that stuff on his birthday, and also I was mentioning about Pets by Porno for Pyros, which
Yeah, I listened to
has
that. Yeah, that's
great,
yeah
just
my kind of
such a
song.
funny lyric at the same time as being incredibly like wise, and I say prescient because I guess it was then and it still is now. So do you know what I
Mm.
mean? It's like one of the unchanging facts of humanity about the age thing is really clever. The way he goes through the kind of
Yeah, yeah,
what we all are at that age and then yeah, just the kind of concept that we'd be used as pets by aliens is kind of quite bang on point in a strange way when we say we always have these grand visions of like, well, welcome to our planet, and I always think it would be a lot more like Mars Attacks where they just go like,
it's the other way around. We're
you
just
know,
like pests. Yeah,
Yes, their pests will make great pests.
yeah,
We could do a remix of
definitely.
it.
Yeah, just yeah.
Awesome,
But
yeah. Well,
yeah, that was the
that's
idea.
great. And what kind of plans do you have moving on into the future then? Like for your
Um,
music, you got plans for like another album, or is it just going to be a couple of singles? Got any collabos coming up?
I think it will just be collaboration at the moment. But I kind of, I don't know, my attitude to it is more like, um, I don't want to be so like, oh, I must do this, I must do that, because then I'll get put off, and then I'll just quit again for another 5 years. So I just kind of go with the flow and just do what I think. If I'm not enjoying it, I just don't do it anymore.
Cool.
So
Sounds like a
yeah,
good. Well, being honest, with the rates that Spotify are paying us and everything, we should probably just do it if we feel like it and if it's fun. We should do it for the fun, not the
yeah,
money at this
yeah.
point, shouldn't we? So if it's
I think
not fun, we should probably just
I've
stop
earned
already.
about £3.50 from
Oh,
Spotify.
really? Well, you're doing well. Like I did. That's
But no,
is
but
that at the
that's all of the platforms, streaming platforms together. Like,
put together?
yeah,
Oh,
so
damn.
it's
You
it's
know
not.
what really hurts them is when you finally get to that point, that threshold where they have to start paying out. Because there's a
Yeah,
certain point up to which they'll just keep your money. Like, it's not even worth our bank, whatever our bank charge would be for doing this transaction. Like, we're not even going to acknowledge you until you hit a certain level. And that
yeah,
feels really satisfying when you finally hit that level and you're like, they actually had to put some effort into something for me. Do you know,
yeah,
not the other way around. Like, especially when they have all these like finicky rules and stuff. Like all your, well, it's iTunes, I think, that have the worst rules. They got like no black borders on your artwork, and I think it's
oh, okay.
most streaming don't like any other words on the artwork that aren't the artist or the title and stuff. And it's like, so
Does it matter?
that means,
Why?
hmm?
Yeah. Does that even matter? Is it just like a control
Well,
thing
I
or
think
something?
it's because computers are doing everything, and so
Uh,
the computer can't read the thing, maybe, or something. I don't know. I figure it's because it's an automated service. It's all set up so the automation works easily, I would guess.
okay.
But that would
So it's
mean
like
that,
a factory. It's
yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
feel, yeah, I think it's something to do with that. But I mean, that would mean that controversy by Prince wouldn't exist now because where he's in front of the newspaper headlines and stuff. Do you
mm,
know what I mean? And there's tons of artwork I think that must be out there. I can't think of a single other one right now, but like there must be tons of artwork out there. There's something with a newspaper, full on newspaper front as well that I can't quite get. But yeah, anything with text seems incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like, and such a limitation on artists as well and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, let me have my
yeah.
artwork how I want it. It's not like you're gonna pay me anyway. Do you know what I mean? Just let me. So yeah,
Or that they care. That's why it's I think what you're doing with the singles club thing is good. It seems more like it feels warm. Like it feels more
good.
warm and
Thanks. I
less
was yeah, I was told earlier by an artist who we're chatting with about doing some stuff that she played the open mic and she felt like it was home. So I was kind of like, oh, that's really cool and sweet. That's nice. That's what
yeah,
music should be for because it's our like refuge and our sanctuary and stuff like that. So it should be that kind of way. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think it's easy to kind of look at it cynically, like, oh, £10, like, but I'll only get how many tracks. Like, reality is you'll probably get like what, about 30 tracks by the time all is said and done for your
mm,
£10. But still, I guess they can have everything they ever want whenever they want from Spotify for £8 a month or whatever, and they have like I find offline streaming the most offensive thing because it's like, hang on, if you're not on the website and you can play it, then you own it, right? Because all music is just for listening to, isn't it? So if
yeah,
you if then you own it for all intents and purposes, and so that always really bugs me. But people have like such an abundance that I guess it might be
yeah.
slow.
It's too
Some
much.
might be slow to pick up on it. But I think the connoisseurs, like people who really genuinely like music and like it in quite a broad sense and like to hear new things and stuff, I think it'll
Yeah,
pick
they
up a
exist.
lot of steam.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We'll find out, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Fast forward to
I hope so.
next year, and I'm talking to new artists, and I'm just like,
Like, why don't they like it? No, yeah, I think that's true. Like we're here, we just need to meet people that are like-minded and just
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That like I think like the way that we didn't have a phone chat until way after everything was signed, and we suddenly realized, oh yeah, we haven't actually
yeah,
like done
spoken to
any
people.
pleasantries almost at all and stuff like that. It's which is definitely as we say a pandemic thing or whatever. But it is interesting that we did kind of drift together quite naturally. Like I just found you via you working with Chris, and then before you know it, it was
Yeah,
all like, oh yeah,
network.
this all
Yeah,
works. And I think when something's supposed to, it probably does happen like that. So you're probably right with your whole go with the flow method. I just, unfortunately, I think someone has to be out there looking for things as
putting it
well,
in order. Yeah, yeah. It can't work all the
trying to
time.
make things happen.
Yeah,
What was that someone said?
you're
Something about
understanding and
unique.
giving them a unique experience.
Didn't see that. It was about singles clubs,
Um,
so I wanted to
yeah, it said something about
understand the
they'll
unique.
understand
Yeah,
your
it
unique
is a unique
experience with just
experience.
10
Yeah,
pounds.
and
Yeah,
and a surprise. Like remember when music used to be like surprising? Someone would have something out, you'd be like, "Oh, there's a new so and so out. Wow, brilliant!" Or like, "Oh, I don't
yeah,
know this," and you tune into. I don't know. I remember
yeah,
like radio used to be a big part of that. I think radio's got quite sewn up now, but I remember listening to radio in the 90s, like in the early 90s, and it being very much a case of finding a new band almost every time I listened to the radio. Like I listened to Joe Wiley and Steve Lamacq
mm,
and hear Rage Against the Machine for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, like what's this? Or
yeah.
hear
I
Cypress
think it
Hill,
misses
or
that,
yeah, and also the
especially like
diversity.
I like the suggested sometimes on YouTube or whatever on Spotify they give you suggested artists because they know your taste. But at the same
Yeah,
time, it means that you don't expand your taste. You don't find new things.
well, yeah, and part of the issue is if it's coming from Spotify or YouTube, the problem is it's actually someone's just paid for that to be shoved in your face and like a huge amount of money. And
Yeah,
also, I find the algorithm doesn't suit new bands as much. Like, so you can be listening to the Pixies, Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine, whatever at the drive-in, and Smilex will never ever. Sorry for those who don't know, Smilex is my rock
sure.
band,
Yeah,
but that will never ever pop up. But you can be listening to Jeff Buckley followed by Joni Mitchell, and for some reason Ed Sheeran will get a look in like straight
yeah.
after,
What?
and you're like, you know what I mean? Nah, just because it's
They'd
got an
never be in the
acoustic
same
guitar.
room. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
so
If they're not allowed in the same room, then they shouldn't be allowed in the same
not
playlist.
in the same
That's my.
playlist. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, Clindo told me a funny story about the a post Grammys party where it's really cool getting these stories from people. But and yeah, he was telling me about Prince. I hope I'm allowed to share this one, but I'm going to risk it anyway. Um, but he went to Prince's post Grammy party, which is already like okay. And Prince had a
this is
big
quite
jam, and everybody's just getting on and jamming and stuff like that. And Calindo gets up and jams and everything. And then afterwards, after everybody's had this big jam party and everything, they're all just sitting around. Most people have kind of, the party's kind of dying down and everything. There's this kind of table of Prince and a few people who've hung around, and Calindo's at the table. And Prince says, "So, did you notice how all the Grammy winners were scared to get up and jam?" It's like, and it's because he was basically saying pretty much that everybody who's like in the modern era doesn't know how to kind of just get up and play some
yeah,
music
exactly.
like
Yeah,
it's a normal thing. And yeah,
mm,
so I think yeah, if we the closer we can get away from like closer to the jam vibe and further away from the not really knowing music outside of a factory process, that's kind of
mm,
just what the label's about really. What with the playlist stuff, with the open mic stuff, with the singles club, tons of other stuff we're going to be starting as well. And that's pretty much, and even just with the bands that we're signing and that, literally just it's on contract actually. Yeah, I signed a band called TV Sex Death, who are really noisy and grungy and like in its own way a great easy listen in one sense, but then kind of a hard, you can imagine for some people it'd be a real hard listen as well. Like it's proper
mm.
Bleach era Nirvana, or like Incesticide era Nirvana, like pre Nevermind, or like that old Seattle kind of sub pop
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
sound and stuff. And Sonic Youth, and even a bit of like shellac and things like that. So it's like really like calls for find these kind of things that are almost like little hand grenades I'm chucking into the works there. You know, oh, you
Yeah,
thought music
just
was
ruin it.
safe. Here,
Yeah,
go have some of that. You know.
yeah, it needs that. You can
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's the only reason it's exciting. I mean that's why the Beatles were reacted to like they were like a breath of fresh air or a shot in the arm or whatever. And same with Nirvana when they came along. There's a certain amount of like lack of respect for what's already established that has to be there, I think, as well. Like you've got to kind of think, yeah, I'm kind of done with all this. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what the Beatles were. They were kind of like coming along going, yeah, we're something a little more energetic than what you've been kind of used to. And
yeah.
likewise Nirvana were like, yeah, we're not like that poodle
There's like
bum.
something that needs to kind of counter what's existing
Yeah,
already to make it
a
to
cultural
throw it out
reset,
of.
really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It cultural, it brings it, and also it always comes from like the working class. Really, it comes from and one of the key things about like art and culture is it takes away all the best stuff from like the underground scene, and it redoes that in a slightly more commercial way, or it finds some way of making money out of it. And for a long time now, nobody's been drawing off of the working classes, and
yeah.
meanwhile
Yes, I
we've
didn't think
all
about it. Yeah,
and they've been bubbling up their own, like the London. I'm wearing this Ruction hat, and the London hardcore metal scene is like thriving and strong, and they all buy tons of merch, and they go to each other's gigs, and
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
proper community. Do you know what I mean? And yet, you will not hear any of that on like your kind of commercial radio, like not even close. Do you know what I mean? So it
yeah.
shows that
It's a
likewise,
different
drum and
world.
bass is
It's like
huge.
complete different.
Yeah, exactly. And the same with drum and bass. It's huge with the kids. Like kids are mental for drum and bass at the moment. And likewise, you don't hear a lot of that in the mainstream either. And so I think there's a whole load of stuff bubbling under, which is just about to kind of,
Yeah, but
you
it's
know.
good that it's not. I kind of like the idea that it's still like keeping the underground, because once the mainstream gets it, it just ruins
Hmm.
it.
No, I
So,
agree. We don't need any more Nickelback. But it's more.
well,
I just feel like there needs to be money in the alternative scene. The good thing about the old days was you never confused Nirvana with Take That. Like you
oh
never
no,
thought of them as being in the same. Do you know what I mean? You had your
playlist.
serious
Yeah,
music made by musicians here,
mm,
and you had your kind of fun pop
yeah, yeah,
entertainment fluff over there. And I think post I think it was the talent shows, whatever they're called,
yeah.
again,
X Factor
The
and all that.
Voice
Yeah,
and all that, because it kind of gave those kind of people doing that kind of music a kind of real identity, like an identity people could latch onto as a real person. It kind of made them real, and
yeah.
also Robbie Williams being allowed to play Glastonbury in '96, that was key. Do you know what I mean? Like
That
the
was where
minute
it
that
all. Mm,
music that's made to sound like real music and then gets treated as if it is real music, I think that's where the problem is. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So, sorry, Guy Chambers, sue me. But yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, so I think, but I think the kids are smarter than that, and they're also really bitter and cynical. So
yeah.
they'll
We need
find their
more. We
own.
need more of that bitterness and cynicalness.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
where the
think.
good music comes from.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? That like I think when Kurt Cobain blew his brains out, and then and I say that with it sounds callous. I don't mean it that way. But and also when like the main big indie band in the world was like Radiohead, I think there became this kind of, and also I suppose in metal it was stuff like Korn and things like that. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not allowed to say that either. I think it became very much about like oh miserable is bad, and oh anger is bad, and like any negativity is like kind of
Mm.
really bad for everybody. But the relying on totally on positivity, it kind of ends up being fake after a while. You're
It's
like kind of going,
negative.
look how
Yeah.
great my life is, and then crying the minute you've taken the photo.
That is what
Do you know?
it pretty much is like with like Instagram and all this. Everyone's airbrushed. Oh, look how perfect it is. Oh, no
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
like back. I hate saying back in the day. I sound old,
It's
but
true though. It's
like
true.
back then it
And
was kind of like,
there's a
mm,
load of kids that don't listen to anything from now, and they just listen to music from back in the day because they hear something in it that kind of obviously
yeah,
speaks to what they need to hear. Do you know what I mean? So we are old, but I think there's good to be taken from that. It's about keeping the best values. Do you know what I mean? Like the 90s had the best values of the 60s, but moved it all on a bit. Do you know what I mean? And I think hopefully we'll do that again culturally. You never know. Might go
Yeah.
backwards again. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. We've got to the point where JK stormed the capitals, so you know we can't get any worse than that. Surely, I don't know. I don't want to speak. Don't want to
Something's
tempt
got to
fate.
happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well. Cool. Well, and so you're just gonna do some collabos and just kind of shoot the breeze for a little while, ride the waves.
Um, yeah, at the moment,
You
yeah.
haven't put in any like key plan, like on the 25th of every month, I'm gonna.
No, I'm not doing that for a while. That made me very tired. So
I can imagine because it's suddenly you have to do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like every time I set myself a date, like, oh, I want this out by that time. Like Darkest Day is like, oh, I need it out by then
Then you have to do
because
it because
that's
you've
got to
told
be.
everyone that you're doing it
Yeah,
now, and everyone's gonna know you
yeah, yeah,
failed.
yeah. Exactly. They can't know you're a failure.
Yeah,
Well, they can know you're a failure, but only if you put it out and then it fails.
yeah, exactly. That's
But
okay.
then you
But
haven't failed because you still did it. It's the
exactly,
accomplishment
so it's
itself,
okay.
isn't it? So yeah,
Exactly.
wicked. Cool. Well, I think. Is there anything else you wanted to cover about yourself, or anyone you wanted to
Um,
shout out? Any musicians you wanted people to go and check out, or obviously you got no
yeah.
gigs, right? So
No, no gigs. Um, well, yeah, they're all popping up now. Easy Fee, check her out. She's there on the comments. Um, Pear Person. Ace was on there as well. Check them out. They all
cool.
kind of
All you
supported me in
guys,
some way, either emotionally or played guitar for me. Like
wicked.
so.
The you guys all put your just leave a little comment in the video after, so that anybody can who's watching this can go and find you in the comments
Yeah,
and go and
yeah.
follow you and stuff like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
We
Easy
try our
Fee
best to.
actually. She played guitar on pretty much not all of the tracks, but most of the tracks. So
I've
yeah, check
seen
her
some
out.
footage actually. Yes, searching
Yeah,
for the perfect chord, was it?
something like
There's
that.
a
Yeah,
video of searching for the perfect chord. Will
I
she
think it
find
was.
it or something like that? Yeah, it's funny. Good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, cool.
yeah.
And yeah, I guess so. No, no gigs, but you
No, I
gonna
missed that. Yeah.
we're gonna try and do something when the song streams. We're gonna try and do a live something for people at the end of
Yeah,
the month, aren't we? Or well, it might be when it comes out Bandcamp. Actually, we'll probably put it right between the two.
for
I would imagine.
subscribers for the Singles Club. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll do actually. Yeah, so there's going to be an exclusive one which nobody who's not in the singles club uh, they can't see, and so that's a reason to join, isn't it? And then
Mm.
there's going to be, and then we're going to do something like when the single is out for everybody to either purchase or stream, or maybe straight in between there, and then we'll get some live action out of you, won't we?
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to practice my bass a bit.
Well, you've got a month. You've got best part of a month. What have you got? You've got yeah, like good 3 week, 2 to 3 weeks. So you can
Okay,
sure you
then
can get
I'm
something
gonna
going.
practice. Yeah,
You'll be like, hey, oh, it's good enough.
yeah. I wish my neighbours luck in all of that.
Yeah, well, especially if you're covering that song, because that song's a loud one. So yeah, as it is, I tend to irritate my partner by if we're in a shopping centre sometimes. Only when I remember, but like sometimes I just like do it like really loud in the middle of the shopping centre. And she's so embarrassed and she wants to die and everything. So yeah, but that's one of my favorite things
Yeah,
to do. Actually, it's a shame that all this COVID stuff's going on because
yeah, I know. The world's
can't do
missing that.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even sing. Boo-boo! It
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
sound
with the
right.
mask, it's not the same.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. So that seems like quite a
Yeah,
long chat that we had. Somehow managed to get something out of not knowing what we were going to do. So
yeah,
so
yeah.
wicked. And I obviously wish you all the luck for the future because I'm going to benefit from your good luck. So obviously I'd.
Yeah, I'll benefit off of your good luck as well. So
Oh yeah, good point.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. So we wish each other luck. Good
yeah,
luck. And good luck to everybody in the room as well. And join the singles club. There,
yeah.
if you didn't catch it earlier, there's information on quickfixrecordings.com. It really is a bargain, and I know what's coming up. So I know you've got some really good music. At least I know absolutely without any doubt what's coming up February, March, and then I have a pretty solid idea of what's April, May, and June's releases as well. So I know it's really good. I know it's fire, as they say. So yeah, so you should join. And yeah, thanks very much, Tash. And I'll be
It's
speaking to you.
okay.
You'll be hearing from me before you even want to, like after this. No,
In
hardly even
about
any
five
point in saying
minutes.
goodbye,
Yep.
really. It's more like, yeah, a very quick au revoir. But yeah, but thanks for joining us, everybody. It really means a lot that you pay attention, and thanks for watching. If you're watching on the replay, do go and check out all the people in the comments, the other artists that you can follow, and yeah, and wicked. And I'll see you on the other side. Thanks, Tash.
All right then.
Anything to
Yeah.
say
Thank you.
before you? Do you want to close it out? Words of
Just
wisdom.
words of wisdom. No, just like just get on there and sign up to the singles club, not just for my stuff, but for the artists that come after and support that and bring music back to when it was once.
Yeah, awesome and
Great.
exciting. Yeah,
Exactly. Good luck to
wicked,
you. Thanks.
awesome. And be
All
good
right.
to each other out there as well. And be well when you actually see each other, obviously. But
Yeah,
be good
not
on the
too good.
internet as
Don't
well.
touch each other. Sorry.
Yeah, and be nice on the internet. That'd be a novelty as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, yeah, yeah.
Wicked, awesome. Well, with that loving message of peace on a Friday night, we'll bid you adieu. Thanks for joining me, Tash.
Thank,
I'll
thank you.
see you around the corner.
All right.
Take care,
See you later.
guys. Look after yourself. Oh, hang on. Here, you can have a little blast of this as we go out. I love the way the sound goes from the speak on that dot 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 sound. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a panning thing going on.
There's the alien sounds. There's the
That's Ben.
sci-fi.
It's Ben Brozel.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Take care of
All right. Thank
yourselves.
you.
Have a lovely weekend.